All right. Well, thank you all for coming. How many of you were over just on the other side of the green? Oh, good. So you've seen it in context. And what I'd like to do right now is just show you a little bit more detail about the drum set that I play. And then I brought a bunch of instruments that I've made. And my goal today is to inspire you to make your own music and to make your own instruments and to drive your parents crazy. Okay? So, let's see, where do I start? Well, why don't I start by showing you my drum set in a little more detail since you guys just saw it.
Hey Scott, do you have the other set of car keys?
No.
Did you see Clint here?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Arbo. Okay, so this drum set is made, it kind of grew over time out of playing with some acoustic musicians, because real drums, you know how loud regular drums are?
I can't really see it.
Raise your hand if you know how loud drums are, right? They're good with electric instruments, but I needed some instruments that worked well with acoustic instruments. That's instruments that don't have electricity going through them. So I started playing a cardboard box, and this cardboard box has a piece of watercolor paper rubber cemented onto the surface for a little bit of extra swish for the brushes. And then I velcroed on some tin cans, and the velcro doubles as a nice instrument too. As well. So the tin can, velcro wears out after a while. And then I have a Danish butter cookie tin lid, which has seen some abuse. Sizzle cymbal that I found by the side of the road from a kiddie drum set. And all this stuff packs up and fits inside my suitcase, which is my bass drum. And I've also got a wooden box, which is just 4 pieces of plywood and then a thin piece of aircraft plywood, like for making model airplanes. And that kind of doubles as a second snare drum. On my left foot, I have something that I didn't actually make. I'm working on it. I'm learning how to do some blacksmithing, and so I'll eventually I'll make all my own stands too. But it's a foot pedal for a tambourine. And that's also what I use over here. They bolted a piece of 1/4-inch plywood onto the bottom and added a bass drum pedal from my old drum set. Then I'm sitting on this drum, which is called a cajon. Does anybody here speak Spanish? What's the word for box in Spanish? Caja. And so this is called a cajon. This instrument is originally from Peru, and it's played a lot by the Afro-Peruvian people there, and also in Cuba, is there was a time when drums were actually banned, they were outlawed, and you could be thrown in jail for drumming. But you're not going to stop people who like drumming from drumming. And so people started drumming on shipping crates and boxes that were coming in any way, shape, or form. So when the police came by, they're like, what? Oh, I'm not drumming. Do you see any drums? So this drum, and congas too. I've got one over here too. I'll show you that in a second. I got those too. One cool thing is you can press your heel against the head and change the pitch. How many of you have boxes that you're sitting on? Let me hear those. Call the clave. You hear this a lot in salsa? music. Keep that clapping going. This rhythm came from Ghana in West Africa, among many other places in the world. But when Africans were brought over and forced into slavery, they brought a lot of their rhythms with them too. And this is one of the rhythms. In Cuba, it turned into the clave with salsa music, and also in Puerto Rico too. In America, you hear it in Bo Diddley. They call it the Bo Diddley beat. If you listen to hip-hop music, you hear that in the most famous overused drum beat based on what Clyde Stubblefield does and the Funky Drummer. So it was like, so you've all heard that beat before, right? That's all from that same rhythm. And if you keep that going, I have some congas. Actually, take a break for a minute. Your hands might be getting sore. I have to strap myself in for some extreme drumming. Isn't that amazing? So, it's called a jaw harp. Now, they make really cheap ones that Snoopy plays that you can find at any music store. This is actually a nice one. It's in tune. This one's tuned to the key of D. And when you, how many of you brush your teeth? Now, when you brush your teeth, do you ever go? Do you guys do that? So that's basically what I'm doing with this. When I change the shape of my mouth, bigger or smaller, and then the kicker is when I start breathing. It's good to breathe.
How about Ben Ross on the harmonica there?